Welcome to the Connection Central Industry Podcast, where real conversations meet real strategies. Each episode we dive into the industries that keep Australia moving, talking with the leaders, innovators, and everyday operators, shaping what's next. So settle in, turn it up, and let's get into it.
Hi, everybody. Michelle O'Hara here. We've got one of our special industry podcasts, and today we are talking with Adam Robson from Prekaro Projects about the construction industry. Welcome, Adam.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. So before we start today, Adam and I have had a little bit of a chat about how I found him in the first place. So what I just wanted to share with the audience was a little bit about how that happened and the power of branding, marketing, and perception. So over here, we love LinkedIn because it's a very good B2B platform. Always scrolling, always interested to see what companies are doing. Came across Adam's company and loved the initial video that they were doing. It was a really fabulous video of one of the industrial spaces and had the personal piece of one of your guys actually explaining what they were doing. And it was just beautiful how it showcased everything. And what that made me do is go and look deeper on the business page about all the different projects you were doing. And it made me think, wow, these guys really own the industrial warehouse space. How did this happen? And that is why this sort of came about. So then I went diving deeper, and we will uncover from you as we go sort of, where that led us. So I won't give away that secret. But what I'd love to do first, Adam, is just take a little step back. You've been operating for about 13 years now, and just share with us a little bit about your business journey and how it all began.
Yeah, very good question. My business journey started on tools, on trade background. So I was working in construction from the ground up. I've always been really drawn to building, not just structures, but teams and businesses as well. In 2014, Jason Preston and I co-founded Prekaro Projects with a pretty simple idea: to do good work, to be transparent with clients, and to build a culture of people that we want to be a part of. We kicked off in Brisbane and grew into what we are today, a mid-tier business delivering major industrial and commercial projects across Queensland, New South Wales, and in the early days, operating in Victoria as well.
Nice. And what inspired you and Jason? Did you know each other in the industry to kick it off?
Yeah, so Jason and I were very fortunate that we worked together at a construction company called Matrix Builders. Jace did about 10 years with Matrix, I think, and I was around 7 or 8 years. They were an excellent company at that time. They gave young guys like ourselves, we were in our early 20s. I just finished my time as a tradesman and moved into a supervisor role. Jace had just finished his time at QUT and was on as a contracts administrator. And we progressed our career with them, Jace finished as a project manager and I finished as a site manager for them. So they gave a lot of opportunity to young guys, and that's where we met, and I suppose you could say fall in love. That's where the love started, the bromance.
Nice. And so obviously, a lot of our clients we find, particularly in the construction, commercial, industrial areas, last year was a nightmare for trades in regards to staffing, materials, all that sort of stuff. Was there some point that you guys realized, whether it was last year or the year before, that there was a turning point or a trigger where you realized all this was going to happen and you did something about it?
Yeah, it wasn't so much last year for us. We put a lot of strategy into Prekaro Projects over the last few years. Our business is purely built on relationships and repeat work, both with clients and subcontractors and suppliers. So we didn't have any issues last year in regards to suppliers or subcontractors, materials, that sort of thing. Our challenge is probably trying to deliver the number of projects and the volume of work that we had on. So very fortunate. Like you mentioned, we've been in business 12 years this year. So those long-standing valued relationships are what carry us through those difficult times when there is a labour shortage or a material shortage. We can lean on those relationships to overcome those obstacles.
Nice. And you also mentioned, when you were working, you coming through, you and Jason, what's that culture piece, I guess, in-house that helps you keep your staff? What are you guys doing
Yeah. Great question. The culture is such a big thing for us at Prekaro Projects. Our motto is building better together. We never ask our staff to do something we haven't done or wouldn't do. We do like things to be done in a specific way because the results are speaking for themselves on what we're achieving as a business. But on the cultural piece, I'd probably describe it as quite flat. That sounds as a negative term, but it's actually not. We've got an open door policy. We provide company updates on a weekly and a monthly rotation through email. We do full company updates where we get the whole team together. We do a mid-year event with the entire company. We do an end-of-year event with the entire company. We have end-of-job parties. We have client lunches. These things all tie into the culture. And we really want to work. We spend so much time at work. We want quality people to work with because ultimately, you're spending 8, 10, 12 hours a day in the construction industry on site and in the office with these team members. You want the culture to be perfect.
So nice. That's so good. I mean, it obviously works for you, and you're obviously very organized and planned person and have high expectations, which is why you're such great operators. Just share from, I guess, a systems point of view. I found last year that, a lot of companies realized that they had to, AI was a big piece, but also just get their processes and systems sorted so that they could become more efficient and do things better. It sounds like you've actually probably already done it this way, but have you noticed? Just share some of your thoughts around that.
Yeah, so there's sort of two questions there. So I'll break it down into two answers. First would be the AI and technology. So we are using a lot of AI and digital tools. They're helping us get ahead with the issues earlier. We use new estimating tools. We've got Prekaro rolled out as well, which is probably more the software side. The things like Qubit for our estimating. We use Mudshark, which we can incorporate into Qubit for our takeoffs on civils and levels. Project scheduling is done in Microsoft Project, and you've got Microsoft Copilot now, which ties all in. And then for our defect management and project documents and reporting to clients, we use Procore. So they have integrated AI and systems within that. But it's not just the technology, it's probably how we're using it as a business. Very focused on tools that make our teams more efficient and our clients more informed. It's not just about the bells and whistles. I think AI is great, provided it's used to enhance your thinking and not replace it. I think most people are now using ChatGPT, or they're using Grok, or they're using Copilot. So you definitely need to be across it, but it shouldn't be used to replace the thinking.
That's fantastic. And what else is working well for you guys at the moment?
Good question. What's working well for us at the moment? Probably the same thing that's worked well for us for a number of years. Our relentless effort in what we put into our projects and our communication. 90% of our work is repeat, and the other 10% comes from referral. So we've got this amazing client base that we've grown with, and we shift trajectory to what projects they need to do. Obviously, we're operating the industrial and commercial market, but we pivot slightly to their scale and size and locations to suit them. So with a 90% work base, it gives me security around my overheads, my staff, and the project pipeline, which is obviously very rewarding for both my guys and the team and myself. Our integrated delivery model is probably a big thing. From our early feasibility right through to the build, it's helping our clients get faster, more predictable outcomes. So we're involved in what's called an ECI process, early contractor involvement. So a lot of I've got plans on my desk, or I've got a blank site on my desk, and a client's asking us to give feedback on what size units or industrial precinct they can fit on there, and we provide that to them.
Oh, wow. So a lot of work, I guess, to make sure that everything is right from the beginning before you even roll out anything, and clear expectations with the client and everything like that. Sounds like it's important. And have you found a lot of people last year was sort of saying that customers' expectations, like customers want more for less. And I guess in your industry, as costs are rising, but it sounds like you'll really have got it sorted, where you're keeping in touch with them, you're letting them know why, you're very clear on what you will provide and the value that you will provide. Is that sort of it sounds like you've already always done it that way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've always done it that way, but there's still that honesty piece which needs to remain. So we're very open and honest in the way that we break down our tender submissions and our costings to our clients, and that hasn't changed. We split out the trade costs, our prelim costs, and our margin, so they can clearly see it, and we can justify that to new clients. But our repeat clients have seen the results, so they understand what costs are associated where and why. Our clients, again, we're so fortunate in the repeat in the work that we have and the relationships that we have. They probably just want, or they're expecting more visibility and speed because we're speeding up with our systems and process. They want real-time updates, hyper costs, and proactive issue solving, especially in the design and construct industry that we are. So we take care of projects from early onset all the way to the final completion. All the authorities, the councils, the approvals, and then the operational work side of it into the design, into the delivery, and give you a turnkey. So that's probably where our investment into systems and technology really gave our clients better access to the project data. But more than that, it's how we communicate as a team. We don't shy away from tough conversations, we lead them.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I appreciate you sharing your the different tools that you use as well. That's really helpful for the audience. And you talked about building these relationships, like 90% repeat and 10% referrals is phenomenal. Any, apart from being good chaps, any pointers for those other people out there potentially who are starting out even or on their way as to how to build those relationships, like, and make them strong?
Yeah. Great question. How to build the relationships is always tough. It's easy. It's not easy. It's still challenging now, but we're in a much better position after a decade in business for a repeat client to come back to us. But the early days, it's extremely challenging.
Yeah.
To win a client's trust when you're quite a young business, when Jason and I started Prekaro Projects, we were mid to late 20s. So a lot of people found it challenging to give us an opportunity to do a project, especially the scale that you need to build and grow and that turnover to enable you to bring in systems and bring in staff and cover your overhead costs. So for us, we were like two dogs chasing parked cars. Whatever opportunity that came across, we would follow it up. And then from that relentless execution and backing up what you say, and showing up every day with the mindset to get the job done right and to deliver the project honestly, that secured those relationships. And then it went from there. And we still put a lot of work into relationships. We really love the people that we work with. We really love our staff that we have on board now. For me, it's the best job I ever had. So a lot of it isn't really work anymore, especially when you're partnering with clients that value what we deliver and we value the clients for what they provide us. Probably the other thing is building the right team. We've got a real team of legends that genuinely care, and that makes all the difference. We've got 23 projects on the books, 12 under construction. Jason and I can't be across every project. Our teams now deliver those. They're developing those relationships with our clients, and that's a real key thing.
And what is it that you look for when you're hiring these amazing team members? Like, how are you finding them? Because obviously that's a very...
Yeah, two questions there. So first of all, what we're looking for in new talent is attitude first. Skills can be taught, attitude can't. Like we said, the core of our business is our culture. So we look for people who want to grow, who like to take initiative, and who want to bring something to the table beyond just ticking the boxes, beyond just showing up and having an existing skill set. We want reliability, we want good energy, and we want the ability to solve problems on the fly. That's key when all of our projects are design and construct. So, you can't pass the buck. The buck stops with us. And in regards to how we recruit people, that's quite challenging at the moment. Good people are extremely hard to find in any industry. Much like yourself, I've got plenty of mates and colleagues that are spread across not just construction, but every industry. It seems to get harder and harder each year. So we use two processes. We have an internal referral program that we use. So we offer our staff a referral incentive if they are to refer a potential candidate that comes on. And the other one is that we are partnered or aligned rather with some really good recruiters within the construction space. So we do use recruiters.
Brilliant. And are you finding that you're having to pull them from all parts of the world or countries or, New Zealand? I've noticed there's a few crews coming over, etc.
Yeah. So a lot of our staff, we have got people that moved up from interstate, a lot of Kiwis as well, actually, that have been really great employees. But the majority of the base is Queensland. We've found in the earlier years, we used to pull staff from left, right and centre from interstate, or they'd move up. They're naturally migrating to Queensland. But now with how big Southeast Queensland's becoming in regards to construction and the infrastructure projects, people don't want to travel, and we can understand that. So we need to concentrate our employment in Southeast Queensland because our projects are sort of based as far south as the Gold Coast and as far north as the Sunshine Coast. So we need to cover those areas. But yeah, definitely becoming harder and harder with, the housing shortages in Queensland. If you move up, hard for people to find a place. We're going to need more workers with the Olympics coming up and the current works that are in the pipeline just for us. So yeah, definitely a challenge for us to look at.
That was going to be my next question, actually, with the Olympics. And obviously you've got your 23 projects. Does that mean that you're full, or is there room, I know you mentioned strategy. So does the strategy include more, or is it, let's see how we go?
No. So we can always fit more in, for sure, especially for our repeat clients. So that as they grow, we strategize and grow with them. We're not focused on the Olympics because it's not where we operate and specialize in. We're obviously specializing in the industrial and commercial sector. The Olympics, I think, will deliver a lot of work for businesses on the back of that. Like we're not going to put a bid in to build the new stadium at Victoria Park. But there would be projects that will affect the surrounding suburbs where there might be large format retail centres or logistics centres that need to be built to supply that stadium. That's where we would look to bid for those things. So there's a lot of opportunity there. But for us, our clients are seeing the success of the projects that we're working on together already. So they're looking for new industrial sites. They're looking for more, I suppose, they're a sort of high-end industrial precincts on the outskirts of the city, locations like Windsor, Bulimba, Hawthorne, all those sort of areas. We're seeing some new sites in there. So they're shifting their model to smaller man cave format or either large format retails.
Yes, interesting. And so what's the biggest change? I mean, you mentioned that, and you've mentioned a few things, but the biggest change you've seen in the industry in the last few years, apart from, staffing and such?
Yeah, the biggest change in the industry that we've seen in the last few years is probably the shift towards technology. It's massive, especially in how we plan and track and deliver projects. The expectations for transparency and compliance have also ramped up for us as our businesses as we've increased. And then there's a real war for talent, like we spoke about before. So culture, flexibility are more important than ever. Our clients want to deal with good people. We want to deal with good clients. So it's a bit reflected in that sense. So that's probably what we're seeing from our side.
Then coming from a trades background, I guess, and, trades technology in the past probably haven't potentially gone hand in hand. So how did you and Jason and the team, how did you go about sort of, educating yourself on what you did need and what you should do?
Yeah, really good question. I think it's probably, for us, it's a generational thing. We're right on that cusp where I was especially trained by the hard old bulls that, their way or the highway, and it had to be done, with theodolites and plumb bulbs and string lines and all that sort of thing. But technology is moving so quickly. You have to adapt and learn it or you're going to fall behind. I'm quite interested in technology. It's something I'm drawn to naturally. The younger guys that we've got coming in now, there's guys on their birth certificates that say 2004, I think 2006, when they sign up their paperwork, they're naturally, they've got a phone in their hand, in their pocket constantly. They're better on the computers than what we'll ever be. Some of them can do coding. They understand how the systems work and integrate. And then when you put a new system on them, like Procore or Hamatech or Qubit we're using, they pick it up so easy. So if you're going to be a leader and train them in that, you've got to self-educate yourself. And people do it in different ways. Some people might do it via a TAFE course or a university degree or something online. Personally, it's learning in my own time, reading, like a lot of visuals. So I enjoy a good YouTube video or a podcast, something to hear about and learn. And then researching that through other avenues as well, I think is a huge thing.
Awesome. I think, judging by the way you're talking, there's opportunity for companies, I guess, like yours or those coming through to take over is maybe the word. The guys who've been around for a long time and are thinking in old ways, it's terrible, but to claw their business over to yours and do it better, that's terrible. But I
Yeah,
mean, they
yeah.
have to be careful, and there's an opportunity there for you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, I mean, we look at everything about, how our tender submissions are put together. What system and process are we using? We're using InDesign, and how does that make our templates look better before we present to the client? We've got 3D software that we outsource, which shows a little video and can put together a visual program of how the stages of the projects will look and how we achieve it.
Wow.
And that goes into like those other financial systems that I mentioned that we're using in our estimating and through to construction and delivery. We use JobPack for our cost tracking and projects as well, so we can export cost track our costs accurately and report them. So yeah, I think
Brilliant.
opportunity for other businesses. They've got to pivot. There's a lot of new technology coming out, GPS, laser, automated systems on site as well. You're going to see that shift continue over the next few years or moving forward, rather.
Goodness. I'm feeling worried for some of those older guys.
Yeah, I think,
I think
well,
that's
in the mindset wise, but, on the other side of it, we don't see apprentice bricklayers anymore. Well, we do see them, but the numbers have really declined. We're struggling to see apprentice roofers, especially in Queensland. So these older guys that are still in the industry are picking up all that work. It's the younger generation that are coming through. We're not seeing those moving to those trades.
No.
Carpenters, electricians, plumbers, we still see lots of. Concreters and tilt panels, which we do so much of, are still a mix of Aussies and obviously immigrant workers, whether from overseas or interstate. But yeah, those hard knuckle sort of tough jobs where we're not seeing the younger generations come through and want them. And in my opinion, and what I'm seeing, that is a real money maker to get young people into the trades, because for the last 10 or 15 years, the school systems have been pushing the universities and degrees. And,
Right.
I'd hate to be a creative writer right now because ChatGPT can replace you in sort of one sentence, but that's my 2 cents. Coming from
But it will
trade.
have the word elevate in it, no doubt.
Yeah.
That damn word. But it's interesting because I've got an 18-year-old son, and I understand completely he's constantly telling me what I'm doing wrong and that technology is the answer, and, they know better. But I guess what do you think is that answer to the youngsters with trades? Because I know, like, when I was going through school, etc., it was always the ones who weren't the smartest guys. And now they're all the multimillionaires. Good on them, I say, because my family background's all trades. So, like, how do we get these guys and girls, encourage them to get into trades? Because also no one really wants to take apprentices because it's so expensive and the subsidies have gone. And, so how do we fix this problem, in your opinion?
Yeah, that is a tough question.
Sorry, that wasn't on the list.
No. I think it's something that we talk about very much the same, that some of my most successful mates are the least educated in regards to a traditional education.
Yeah.
I went to school to eat my lunch. I barely got through it. I didn't go to university. I had to do my TAFE at night to get my builder's license while I was working at the same time. And that's quite reflective to some of my other mates who did a mechanical apprenticeship, and then they've opened up a mechanics business, and then they've started a mobile mechanics, and they've outsourced drivers and that sort of thing. So back to your question of how to get young people inspired, I think more people need to talk about the success that we are seeing in trades and in construction in the industry. It's not well advertised. I mean, there's a couple of really good businesses that do some great marketing. We're amping up our marketing as well. And like you mentioned at the start, that's how you found us. But I think probably it's going to be on the socials, rocking up at a high school and telling the kids how good it is to be a builder. I don't think it'll work. It needs to be through those platforms like Meta and TikTok and YouTube. Whereas now it's more, the YouTubers, the content creators, you can make $100,000 in a day and you don't have to work too hard and everyone gets paid. And that shift is moving to that, where I can do as little as I can and get the maximum out of it. It doesn't work like that for all of us or for the rest of the population. I think if you are investing in digital content, you really need to be honest and real. I think clear, concise communication, no jargon, no hiding behind the process. That's been really successful for us. I was really pleased to hear that's how you saw our video, which was our tilt panel series. I think it might have been what it was. One of my guys explaining how we build the tilt panels.
Yeah.
You know, we've built thousands of warehouses and hundreds of thousands of tilt panels. And one of the most common questions I get asked is, what the F is a tilt panel? So it made sense for us to make a tilt panel series.
Yeah. I did watch that. It was
Yeah,
interesting.
there's still more to roll out.
Nice, nice. I love that concept that you're thinking about actually, because, and yeah, I look forward to actually you guys seeing more of your doing that, talking to the youngsters, because that's a great idea. Gosh, don't give that away.
Yeah. No, I'm
Do it quickly.
happy to share it. You want to inspire more of them. I think my audience is more the old, or my generation and older. You know, if we look at the analytics, we're very focused on LinkedIn as well. Like you mentioned, that's our main source. We're not too concerned on Meta. We're more focused on LinkedIn. So there's obviously a business mind behind that, and the focus on that is sort of our age demographics. Not sure how
That's
to
it.
get the 18-year-olds and the
Instagram.
70-year-olds
Yeah.
into it.
You got to go to Instagram and TikTok for them, and also all the 14-year-olds who got back on after that rubbish
Yeah.
knocking out. But anyway, that's a different story. Yeah, but I just love, because I see too often all the garbage of, become a business owner and drive your Lamborghini and you can be rich in 5 minutes and all that sort of stuff. So I really like the idea of, just being honest and saying this is how we did it. And it's also okay to not, have loved school. Like, I know my son didn't love school. He passed and everything, but he hated it really. And still be able to be successful doing something that you can be really good at. So I really, well done on that. I love that. My God, our time, it's almost up and there's so much more to talk about. But I guess for you, what's some of the trends or shifts that you'll be focusing on going forward for this year? Share with everybody.
The trends and shifts for the next coming year? Probably for us, industrial and logistics, construction demand is still strong. We're watching the interest rates and the planning regulations quite closely across, we're working across so many different councils. We're also keeping a close eye on prefab and modular construction. There's potential for smarter delivery there, especially in the education and childcare projects that we're doing, with sites becoming more confined and harder to access. We're looking at those sort of aspects. Obviously, tilt panels are constructed on site. That's why they're so large, but we can also use the precast. There's cross-laminated timber, known as CLT, and then the modular that I touched on as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. So many great things. And we're at the end, but if you had to give just one piece of advice right now for really any business, because you guys, everything you talk about is really applicable across all business, what would that one piece of advice be for people to think about strategically for 2026?
Strategically? I think for us, our motto has always been the same: outwork everyone. We just show up each day, work hard. There's a lot of things you can put in when you say strategy. We've put a lot of effort into Prekaro's strategy over the last few years, which achieved our growth. And it's really hard to maintain that culture as the business has grown, but we're very fortunate around the leadership team that we've built. So I suppose my answer would be aimed at different members of your audience. If you're just starting out and your business is just getting going, you've just got to outwork everyone. It's that simple. If you're midway through, or you're on that low or hump, however you want to describe it, where you're in the grind and you can't grow and you're struggling to hit that next level, you've got to take the dive and put the strategy in behind what that growth looks like over the next few years. For me and for us now, in our early days, we used to think in hours and days and weeks, like, let's just get through this today, let's just get through this week, let's just get through this year. Now we're planning in decades what we want the business to look like over the next 10 years, where we're going to move towards with our clients, how we're going to shift. Do we need to pivot? Is the industry going to grow? Is it going to shrink? So, yeah, that's probably my advice for people, but very hard question. I might have to think a bit more on that.
No, that's a fantastic answer. My goodness, I couldn't have asked for more. And actually, I'm going to circle back, because even though we've run out of time, it doesn't matter. Is whilst I was stalking, obviously I found LRP Developments.
Yes.
And I don't want to leave without talking about it, because how did that come about and how has that affected your whole business?
Yeah, great question. So if I had $1 for every time someone that had a project ready to go, we'd be having this, the project was mine, we'd be having this conversation on a yacht. In the early days, we were looked to win a project, or we'd secured a project and the project fell over, due to a number of reasons. Maybe it was funding, or maybe the project didn't fall over, but it stalled or was delayed. And what we found is, as the business was growing, my overheads were increasing, and we wanted to retain those key staff because they're so important. So we purely took on a project as what builders call a speccy. You would have heard a residential builder, he builds his own house, he lives in it for 12 months and he sells it. We did the same thing for industrial. We had projects that were falling through or delayed for whatever reason. We took on projects to ensure our team were covered. The good thing about that was it allowed us to scale without losing the quality of staff and the culture that we had. It helped us manage our overheads and the costs that are associated with the business. And it also helped develop our growth and train young staff. We could put young guys on our projects, get them trained up, and then we could move them on to our clients' projects to ensure they got the systems and processes. So in the recent years, LRP has naturally grown. So myself and Jason and Jay Lucky is the other director of that company. It continues to grow, and it's used mostly as feeding platform for Prekaro projects. When we see those lows, we've got a number of projects that are under construction. All of a sudden, they're all starting to fall in together. We can fill the team in with one of our projects. So, it's used for both.
Oh, clever.
So it's
Well
good.
done.
And I hate the word, but it's organic. Yeah, it's organically growing, which is great to see. We've got a really exciting project coming up in Windsor on Lutwich Road. I'm in the final stages of design and building approval now. That's got quite a lot of coverage on places like the Urban Developer and throughout the Brisbane marketing scene. So that's really exciting. Prekaro will go on to build that and we'll unsell it. So really exciting times.
You make it all sound very easy, Adam.
It's not.
Which I know it's not.
Yeah, like I said, best job I ever had.
Thank you so much. I could go on asking you another million questions, but I really, really appreciate your honesty and openness and organization today. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And I have no doubt that anybody watching this will be absolutely so grateful as well. You'll probably get another 1,000 LinkedIn connections. Sorry about that.
I hope so. That's what it's all about. Thank you for having me. It's awesome to connect within your network and looking forward to speaking with you more.
Beautiful. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
See you.